Welcome back to my 6 months journey. We're here at week 3, and this one felt like a full crash course in what it means to think like a founder. Like, not a perfect founder, not somebody who already knows what they're doing, but someone who's willing to keep learning, asking, pitching, failing forward and trying again. This week wasn't about big wins, it was about conversations, clarity, and about recognizing that building something starts long before making any money or having results. So today I am taking you through the things I experienced this week and the mindset shifts that come with them. If you're trying to build something on your own, even just a better version of yourself, I think you'll get many takeaways from the stories, even if they aren't actually spelled out. Let's start with something that sounds simple but is transformative. Every meeting needs a map. This week I met with potential business partners to co-create a 3-hour event in Düsseldorf with a panel discussion, workshops and keynotes. There were 3 parties involved: the location host, who's also the university, startup program, and us with our startup ourselves. So as you see, it's not just any event, it's a co-hosted event. The rookie mistake would have been jumping straight into the logistics. Who's bringing what? Who is opening the panel discussions? What topics is the workshops about? But we didn't do that, and you shouldn't either. We paused and asked, what are we actually doing? Why are we doing this? What does each part want to walk away with? What is actually every person doing for this event? And that's extremely important, because if you don't align your goals early, you end up solving problems that don't even exist. Worse, you're stepping on each other's toes and making problems out of it. It's like trying to cook a meal without agreeing on what you're actually making. Someone is doing pasta, another person brought taco shells. It's like a total chaos. So always understand the problem and the goals for every participant if you do any kind of collab. This applies to any relationship, study groups, any kind of cooperations with other people. It might sound small, but it really shifts the view. The location provider wanted to add specific guests and give a good offer to the attendees. The university as an entity wanted to engage the students because this falls into the semester opening week, and the startup incubator wanted to attract more students to become founders, so they want relevant branding. And we as a startup wanted to have connections and give helpful insights with our actual target group. Then we mapped this, we literally wrote everyone's goals down before even thinking about the how. Too often we assume alignment, but most misalignments, misunderstandings come from not asking and just interpreting and just assuming we're all on the same wavelengths. Most groups fail because they aren't asking what's in it for you, and the other person is just swallowing their opinions, and it's not about me and you, it's a we thing. Everybody's opinions and expectations matter, and that's something I really want to carry in every collaboration from now. So start with goals, then build a structure around that. You can't align outcomes if you don't align expectations. Later that week, we talked to an investor who also acts as a coach and mentor for early stage startups like us, and he said something that honestly should be printed on every founders and creators wall. Don't talk with the wrong people about your product. Your idea isn't about everyone, it's about the people you're actually building this for. If you think it's for everyone, then it's for nobody. It really sounds very obvious to me, but it's a trap we mostly fall in at some point. You have an idea, you're excited, you ask everyone around you what they think, but usually those people are not your target group. Their opinions can really derail your clarity. They usually don't matter. So always start with the problem and make sure you deeply understand your target group. Who are you selling to? Who is actually buying and who is using it? Know the difference between who pays for it and who uses your product. The differences define your entire business model. For example, my tutoring business, I'm not selling to the students, I'm selling to their parents. And the expectations of both groups, they don't always align. Parents usually want good grades, and students often just want to be seen before even being able to learn. They want a space, and I need to find ways to match those two expectations with my tutoring as a service. And sometimes I also decline parents because their expectations don't meet my own goals, where I really want to teach and not drill their children. So back to pitching. Don't just pitch your idea. Don't dump the solution on the people. Paint the picture of the problem first so vividly that the solution becomes obvious. Invite your listeners to really mentally step into the story and then let them tell you your own USP and what is the nice solution, what it would be. And then you show your product, and I guarantee you the sale is almost directly there if it's your target group. So use this example of a cookbook. Imagine you're writing a cookbook for people who want to recreate fine dining at home. You don't test this idea on any broke university student who eats instant noodles, only has a pot and uses a fork as your spatula. Are they bad people? No. But are they your target group? Also no. So their opinion isn't invalid. It's just irrelevant to this product you're building. So what happens if you ask them, they tell you it's too complicated, it's too expensive, it's not relatable, I can't do anything with this. And then you start doubting your idea, you're doubting yourself, you're losing hope. Not because it's bad, but it's because you're asking the wrong people. Build with and for your actual target audience. Feedback is only as useful as its source. So now we had mapping out our problems and target audience and aligning expectations. Another mindset shift is what I'm internalizing within collaborations and partnerships. I see so many people going out there approaching others by thinking, what can you offer me? What can I get out from this? But this mindset is so fragile. Instead of asking, what do I get? Start with asking, what can I give? It really changes your whole energy. It changes how people perceive you, and it also makes others more likely to actually interact with you in the first place. This is especially important when you have no funding yet and your early stages. The currency you have isn't money. It's time, ideas, knowledge, relationships. It's your whole IP. It doesn't mean you give everything away, but it does mean you understand what value you already hold and you lead with that. Maybe pause for yourself and really think about your own values. I'm sure that there are plenty of it. If you can't think of any, ask your friends, ask your teachers, your mentors. And when you know, walk into the rooms ready to contribute and not just take. So when I went into the meetings ready to contribute, I shared feedback, my ideas, my insights. I offered the support I can give. I helped find clarity in all of this. And guess what? The people leaned in. They opened the doors because generosity also signals your capability. Contribution creates a real momentum. And in the early days, momentum beats any perfection every time. So also don't really play all your cards directly. You want to not be too naive. So give time, give attention, give your knowledge, spend it generously, but spend it very wisely. Coming to the next part, you met some nice people, you met some good skill sets you might think are actually very useful for you. Now you're thinking about delegating. One thing I've learned the hard way, delegation is not always smart, especially not in the very early stages. If you don't have a specific work frame and don't know how you actually want to achieve something, the only thing you're delegating is complete confusion. I know, especially when you're still in your beginner's learning phase, it's really tempting to hire someone to fix what you don't know. But until you understand your own pain points, outsourcing can cost more than it actually gives back. And that's why we're doing our own groundwork. This week, I opened applications for new developers to join our team. But before that, we took time to define what we actually need. Not just any coder, but someone who needs to see the real big picture. We have the vision, we hold the concept, we have it CTO, and he says now it's the time he needs support. It's very important to know what you need and why you need it. It's not about what would be nice to have, but what's essential right now. If you don't know your own pain points and just give a task without a framework, the other person will most likely create something from his own vision. And then he or she will become the product owner. And as a founder, you're not a supporting role. I'm also not talking about not taking in new ideas or different concepts, but if you don't know where you want to go, you're probably just talking back and forth with him or her and you're not moving forward any bit. So don't make the mistake to delegate just to move fast. You'll hire the wrong help. Spend time outlining your whole ideas, your architecture, and create a backlog. Consult with people you know who work in this field already, and then validate what you've mapped out, and then set out a call for candidates. As a founder, I don't have to be an expert in everything, but you do need to understand the shape of everything. Because I think you can't lead what you don't actually see. So here's the lesson. Don't throw away your money at confusion. Throw clarity at it first. And this was reinforced again at my university program. I study applied entrepreneurship. And this week we held a focus group with other students from all the different semesters. The goal was to make our study program actually reflect what the students really need. Real input, real data, not just guesses from the professors. And it reminded me, especially, I think for everyone, every founder should do the same. Whether you're creating an app, baking a cake, holding a workshop, or starting a YouTube channel, ask before you build something. Focus groups, voice notes, informal conversation, anything that brings the user's voice into the process. This is what makes your solution stronger. We spoke up about unclear expectations, feedback, processes, and course design, and many of the themes our professor had guessed were actually confirmed, but then there were completely other new aspects they didn't even think of. So your vision matters, but feedback really shapes the execution. I left the session with a refreshing sense of what listening can actually unlock. You can't be everything to everyone, but you can deeply serve someone if you take the time to ask first. Great solutions come from great listening. So despite all the startup action this week, I still followed through with my personal goals we set last time. I still hit the gym. I actually went 5 times. I didn't think I'm going 5 times. Then I ate home-cooked meals. I budgeted my spendings. I did my Thai lessons. I had a lot of fun teaching my students. And summer just arrived. I got a new haircut. It's a little bit shorter. And I haven't had a haircut since half a year. But most importantly, I took time for myself to relax outside and then let the sun start my vitamin D metabolism. Not because I had time to spare. I definitely don't have time to spare. But actually because I think the systems we're starting last week are starting to roll. The goals I set last week weren't very flashy, but I think they created like containers and they are holding me through all the chaos. Like without pressure, but with direction. And I think that's the power of setting personal systems, getting a real framework. They help you show up even when life gets completely messy. And maybe you can reflect on your own energy now. Did you spend your time wisely last week? And are you differentiating doing a lot and doing what actually matters, like we talked about the last time? Because progress isn't always something you see right away, but like consistently builds something underneath the surface, something really solid. And when the systems are rooted in who you want to become and not just what you want to achieve, they actually carry you through the chaotic phases. So for me, this week taught me that being a founder isn't a title, it's a complete mindset. And the people who make it work are the ones who keep showing up, keep asking better questions, and then keep building with what they have. Showing up isn't about looking perfect, it's about taking matters into your own hands. Take action of your life. Next week, I'm going to share how our developer meetings went. I have another partnership meeting set up, and we have a big testing and user experience usability workshop. I'm also invited to a wedding dinner. But for now, I'd love to hear from you. What's something you're working on? Or what part of this video stuck with you? What's really resonating with you the most? So let's keep growing. Let's keep improving one intentional step at a time. See you next week.